Welcome back, MGM MarketAbilities podcast. I'm your host, Lucas Winkler.
Hey.
What's up, Lucas?
I'm Prescott.
Hey!
I'm not your host, Rob.
I'm Anupa. Ashley Anupa.
Ashley. Yeah. Because I can't remember how to pronounce your name half the time.
It's all good.
All right, so today we're talking about why you should not do free work or why you should stop doing free work because it is hurting the industry.
Yes.
So, Prescott, we were talking before.
Yes. I have a few different
Yes, go
things
ahead.
on it. If you go to college, like you're getting your experience there, so like you don't need to build a portfolio. You should have a portfolio when you leave. But if you're like starting out and say like maybe you're like your parents get you a camera for Christmas and you start doing some stuff, or like you're doing something that has value, but you don't have a portfolio to back it up, that's when it's okay, in my opinion, to do free work. But as soon as you have an example to show somebody or a portfolio, no free work.
No free work.
Yeah, literally do it just to get yourself off the ground, get that experience, and then after that, you have no reason. The second you get a paying customer, you should never do free work.
Ooh, that's good. Because then you're a professional, right?
You are.
Because if you're getting paid to do something, you're technically a professional.
Yeah, and then
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
if people like say like, oh yeah, like he does great photos and he does it for free, that's just gonna destroy you, because then the second you try and charge somebody, it's like, well, so and so told me you did it for free. Why are you charging me?
Right.
And it's just, yeah, it's so difficult to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah, I have a client that I've had for like 10, 12 years, 15 years, something like that. And I started out with him when I was still learning. And he was still expecting, after I'm like, been in it for like 15 years, he's still expecting those same prices. And I'm like, I can't do that, man. And then I specifically asked him not to tell other people how much I was charging him, because then they're going to expect that for the same price.
Right.
So I would say maybe it's don't do free work or cheap work.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it's the same as undervaluing yourself. Like
Right.
if you're doing it for free or you're doing it for half of the price that you should be charging, which I think a lot of people do because they...
There's a lack of confidence. There's like you're like I if I don't lower my price, I won't get that client.
Yeah, exactly. Like you always seem to like you need to get every client, right? But every
Right.
client's not for you.
That's right.
Because there are a lot of people that in growing media actually, where Angie and I have gotten close to getting on that client, and then we kind of sat in with them and we're like, wow, we don't want this.
Yeah.
You know, like it would be too much of a headache. Even if the money was there, it would take away from like our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It wouldn't be fulfilling for both of us. It wouldn't be worth it. And so that's always something to keep in mind is like you shouldn't be cutting or doing free work just because you want that specific person, because usually, I mean, and I'm relatively spiritual. So if someone is like, if it's not working out like you thought it should have, it's actually probably a blessing. More than like a curse upon you or something. It's actually probably, something's being blocked in that arena for you because there's something better on the other side of it.
Absolutely. I've heard it time and time again. The cheaper the client, the longer the list of revisions you have to make or hoops you have to jump through, and there's just so much more. Whereas like you get up in like the price range, people aren't literally paying you just for your skill. They're paying you for your professional opinion, and they're not going to micromanage you.
Yeah.
Because they have so much more going on. So they're more or less paying you to efficiently do it, and they can trust you.
Right.
Yeah, because if you're charging a lower price, they're like it's like a subconscious thing, right? It's like if you're charging a lower price, people are like, oh, this guy's not like super professional, so I'm gonna have to micromanage this to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
But if you're charging a higher price, it's another subconscious thing, right? They're like, okay, this guy's gonna take care of it because I'm paying him to, and so whatever they send me, it's good.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Because like I've always wondered like why in the world are lower paying clients like harder to deal with, or they want more revisions and they feel like they have to be in it. That really summed it up for me.
Yeah, it's a big deal once you realize that like people actually trust you once they like put that payment down, like the real one, right? You know, the one that you should be charging.
Yeah.
Which is great because like for example, I just did a single track for a girl, and I have literally like I hardly ever have like zero mix revisions, right? There was zero. There was like one little thing that actually I screwed up, so it wasn't even technically a revision, right? Because
Yeah.
it was something that I missed.
It wasn't something that she wanted changed.
Yeah, exactly. It was something that I totally missed on the mix. So I don't even count that as a revision. It was something that I just glossed over.
Right.
But otherwise, 0 revisions. And then I sent her the master, 0 revisions again.
That's awesome.
And it's because I charged her full price. And she was just like, yeah, it's all you. I trust you. Whatever you think is best is what I think is best. And I was like, oh, I don't have this very often.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That was great.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of learning from you guys, though, is that you need to know like your worth and what you can bring to your client. My experience was just kind of a little different. Like I'm still adjusting to the whole, like, when you have a client, you set your own quotes, and that's what you're going to give them. But my whole thing in my past work experiences is just knowing your worth. Like, if you're getting hired to do something, like, that is what they should expect from you. But also, like, I always was a yes woman about everything. And I also learned that, okay, I need to have some boundaries, and I need to know my worth and what I'm willing. Like, if you're willing to pay me this is what you're going to definitely get from me, but don't expect that I can just do it all for you for a little pay.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That is one thing that you run into, though, is so many people want to pay you so little for you to do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm an avid fan of the undervalue over deliver, right?
Under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Totally screwed that up. Yes. Under promise, over deliver. Did I say undervalue?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you said earlier, don't undervalue yourself.
Yeah, right.
Undervalue, over deliver.
Yeah, I totally screwed up that saying. You
So what
guys
is
guys
it?
get
Under
it.
promise?
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah,
Under
so like
promise. That's the
promise
first
you're
time
going to
I'm
do
hearing
these things for them
Yeah.
at the price that you set, and then just do a little bit more to kind of surprise them, but never talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just kind of take like, and it doesn't even have to be much. Like, it doesn't have to be something extraordinary, extra. Just something a little bit, because they're like,
Right.
oh, like
Or you
this
can-
person went out of the way to do this.
Or you can be like, we'll get it to you in 3 weeks and get it to him in 2 or 2.5.
right. So like for an artist that I've been working with for a while, we've done like 4 or 5 albums together, which is really cool. On his latest album, I framed it. Like, I put it in like a nice fancy frame, and then I sent them to him, and it cost me like $30, and it just absolutely
So you
blew
went-
his
That's awesome.
mind. Yeah.
So you went a little bit above and beyond for them, and they
Yeah, well, he was
They
just
liked
so
it?
happy when it showed up in the mail, because he can
Nice.
hang it on his wall.
that was
and,
already ready. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
That's like Sweetwater, always sending candy.
yeah, exactly.
Everything you order, they always send you a little bit of candy.
It's always nice.
And there was
Sweetwater, send us a bunch of free gear, please. Thank you.
and candy.
Yes,
Yeah.
mostly gear.
Yeah, no, that's actually a time-long business tradition where the like big name people and everything, the reason like why they have such loyal customers is because they'll give them what they're paying for, but then just like a little, like sometimes it can be as little as a piece of candy, and it's like, I didn't ask for that, and it's my favorite flavor that I might have offhandedly told them.
Right.
So you've created that bond. Like one of the guys I do a lot of his photos for, on his birthday, I just framed some of his favorite ones, sent him to him.
Yep.
Loves it.
See, exactly. Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah. The like.
And how much did it cost you? Like $20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as
And now you have a lifelong client.
yeah, loves it and everything, and they're
cool.
just like stuff that he remembers by. Another thing, sometimes they might ask you on super short basis. If you can make it, do that, because that you came through for him, and that was like another time I've had where it's like, I wasn't even expecting you to be able to do this, and you came in, you knocked it out, and you kind of got me out of a tight spot. So it kind of it does like kind of
big
put a
deal.
damper, but in the long run, it's like I inconvenienced myself for a night, and I kind of guaranteed myself some solid business,
Right.
or he's gonna talk about
And
that.
Yeah.
also that's like customer service, because if you think about it, like as an independent contractor, as a freelancer, whatever, you typically think of like bigger businesses like Amazon or stuff like that they have their own customer service department. But you as an entrepreneur or creator or whatever, if you have clients, you are the customer service department.
Yes.
So you have to do those small things that a customer service department would do, because if they send back, normally you think of a customer service department as like, hey, something's wrong with this, I need to call them to get them to fix it. And usually they'll be like, yeah, sure, here's a free one. I just had that experience recently with a dash cam. The backup camera was
Yeah.
causing problems, so they sent me a new whole unit and an upgraded backup camera.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for free, and I thought that was great.
That's such a big deal.
Yeah, so if you do that kind of stuff as an entrepreneur, freelancer, whatever, you're going to get those clients that are like, all right, even though this guy is charging less, I want to go with him because he treats me right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or her.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learning the entrepreneur life has
Hero.
been very fun because you really are all the departments. Like you are the customer service, you're the accounting, and you have to hold yourself accountable to everything.
Yeah.
For the
All
client.
right. Let's hit on the exposure myth. When a client's like, "Hey, I can guarantee you a lot of exposure for your work, and
So
that's how I can pay
What's
you."
the exchange rate of exposure bucks to Shroot bucks to Stanley Nichols
To real money.
to U.S. dollars?
Yeah.
So I have an interesting take on this that I heard from someone. They said, if you can guarantee I'm going to get this exposure, I think I talked to you about this, Rob.
Possibly.
They said, here's my price. So if you let's set it when do you think I'm going to get this payout and exposure? How many people are you going to guarantee I'm going to get? Let's put it at 1 month. So here's the price that I'm going to charge you today. And if you get these customers that come to me and give me the amount of money you say I'm going to get, I will refund this.
Right.
That's cool.
And so it is you're still getting paid. And if they
Yeah.
come through on their word, that's cool. I pay them back that, but I got 5 or 10 customers.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is if they don't want to pay you, they don't have faith that you're going to get that exposure. They're just using that as an excuse to try to get free work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
There's a subreddit specifically for this. It's called For Exposure, and it's screenshots of conversations of people
That's funny.
being like, "I have 40,000 followers on Instagram. I'll give you a shout out," and then they go and check, and they're they only have 1,700 followers. Or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So it's first of all, they're lying, but also it's literally manipulation to try to get you to give them free work.
Right. Yeah. It's. Yeah. I've had that too many times. Where they're like, yeah. I mean, you can just work on this for me, and everybody. So many people are gonna hear it. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, okay.
This is my example that I give. Everybody in America has seen a $1 bill, right?
Yeah.
Who designed it?
I don't know.
Oh, that is good.
How do you don't know who designed it?
Oh, man.
Benjamin Franklin.
Leonardo DiCaprio painted it.
He does it all.
That's an inside joke. Go watch the episode of The Spiel where we talk about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Very specific.
You gotta go find it. Yeah, so that's my take on it. Is the exposure thing doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of the time it probably doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's a fact right there.
And the only person that's going to keep
it's
coming
not.
back is the person that
That
got
you gave
you
the free work.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's bringing the wrong people back.
So I've had a client that has been like, hey, all of these people have seen your work. I'm getting away from the mic. All of these people have seen your work. Everybody, they ask me about it constantly, all the time. And I'm like, why have they never called me?
Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't believe you.
a time-long thing. If people say too many good things about you that seem too good to be true, it's probably them just flattering you to try and
Get free stuff,
yeah, just I want my next one.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Next question.
Free work doesn't pay.
Should you give discounts to family members and friends?
no.
I think you should treat them just like any other client.
I have a
it's
whole
tough.
thing about that.
All right. Go
Please
ahead,
go.
Rob.
Oh boy.
So here's my thing is that my job, I am a multimedia producer. So I shoot video. I do music videos. I record audio, not as to the extent that Lucas does, but I have the ability.
Yeah, he does.
I do photo editing, photography, videography. I do all of these services, right? So if any of my family members come to me, hey, I need you to design me a business card. I need you to make a website for me, all this kind of stuff. I would expect you to pay me full price. However, I am not an IT professional. I'm not a professional mover. If you're like, hey, can you help me move? Can you come fix my printer? Yeah, no problem. That's what friends, that's what family do.
right.
Yeah.
But if it is my job, if I make a living doing this, you should expect to pay me, and I should expect to get paid.
Yep. 100%.
Agreed.
I am with you on that for sure.
Right.
Like if I have a cousin who he wanted me to record him, and I laid him out the price, and he was like, "Dude, I'm your cousin." And I'm like, "I know,
I'm your cousin too.
but I like whenever I come to your restaurant, I pay full price. So,
Right.
what do you want?
Touche.
Like, what do you want me to do?" So, yeah, but it's a tough conversation to have. But I if anybody's listening, I would encourage you to actually sit down and just have that conversation.
Yep.
Be like, I'm a professional. This is how I make my living. I cannot,
Right.
my time is valuable.
So
you know?
here's another example. Okay. So my mom asked me to make her a business card, and I was like, "What's your budget?" She never came back. She never got back to me.
Right.
And
$1 million.
Right. Be like, let's do it. One business card, $1 million. No. So my thing was, you asking me to do that for free would be like this. You go to your office job all day long. You sit there, you answer letters or whatever your job is for 8 hours a day. You get off work and you come home. And I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you go back to your job for another 5 hours and work the whole time? Do exactly what you're doing.
For free.
But I want you to give me the paycheck.
Oh.
Yep.
That's exactly what that is.
Yep. Wow.
Because if you want me to design you a business card, it could take 5 hours.
Yeah.
So after I've literally been doing that all day for 8, 10, 12 hours, and then you want me to come home and spend another 5 hours giving you something for free
Yeah.
that you're going to be able to now use to get more business. And then you're going to come back to me later and want something else for free.
Yep.
That's
That's tough.
Woosah.
That's tough.
Yeah,
there's
that is.
so many businesses in our community that they're friends, yeah, and they do a lot of business together, but they never cut corners and do things cheap for each other.
Yeah.
It's always like, I've been around like where somebody's like, oh hey, I need like X amount of this by this day. All right, yeah, we'll get you to it. Just bill me.
Right.
Like nothing like, hey, I did that one thing for you one time. What's that worth? Like it's there's so much professionalism, and like I have a lot of good friends I don't do business with. I have a lot of friends that I work with too, and I've never had like I've had people like outside of like the business world like, hey, can you do this for me like on the cheap, or like, hey, you have a camera and like you're gonna be there anyway. It's like no,
Right.
and so it's one of those things like the people that really want you to succeed are like the people that have a vested interest in you succeeding, because you're kind of tied together. So if you're doing really well and I work with you, there's a good chance that like I'm going to start doing really well because we have a very similar business pool.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are worth keeping around. Or in the long run, like if things were tight for them, like, hey, I can't pay full price right now, but I can get you back. It's like, all right, I've done business with you for like 5 years. I'll cut you some slack.
Right.
Because they're good
Yeah.
for it.
Right.
So those are the only times I would consider giving a discount. But at the same time, it's like, I know I'm going to get the full price back eventually, or they're going to send some business my way.
Right.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah,
there's another side to all of that.
Okay, go, Rob.
Bartering. So I will not deny that I have shot some videos in exchange for $100 plate of steak.
Yeah, and I think that's okay because
Yeah.
you value that steak.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was made at a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
100%.
like, yeah, so I was doing that weekly.
Yeah.
Every week. I'm like, yeah, I want the steak, bro.
Yeah.
Give me the steak.
Dude, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Like,
No.
I've done some stuff like where people have like sent me some product and like, hey, I know you really like this. Could you give me a couple of things? And I actually turned a profit from this, where I shot extra, and I showed them all the stuff. I was like, hey, I guarantee you do 4 images, but I shot 12, and they're like, I kind of want all of these.
Right.
Yep.
And so I actually turned a profit.
And now
from
you got
it.
to pay for the other 8.
So yeah, that's how you can turn like some free work or some barter work.
Right.
Yeah, if you value the product or the exchange, then yeah, that's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Like if it's something that you actually want. then
Yeah, I
100%.
I actually was talking to a guy who I was going to shoot 4 videos for him in exchange for 75 personal training kickboxing lessons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which would be awesome.
it's definitely worth it sometimes.
I was about to say,
right.
I think you actually came out ahead in that
Yeah.
deal.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so last question. Or not really a question, but more of like a clarification. Is free work and you donating is completely different. Because I think that everyone has skills that a lot of people don't have, right?
Right.
And it is awesome whenever you can use those skills to donate your time or those skills to something like a non-for-profit cause, something that's really on your heart. I do this all the time for my church or for other churches, or for like Cedar sessions, right? Because like I don't make any money off that, but my heart is so much into that like I want that to grow. I want to see that flourish. So I will donate my time for things like that. And that is not free work because I'm not going in with the anticipation of like, I need to get paid for this. This is, my time is so valuable that this is worth the money. It's like, no, I'm worried about changing people's hearts and changing people's lives with my skills. So how do you guys feel about donating your time?
I
100%.
agree.
I think if you have the passion behind it and
Yeah.
you're willing to do that because you love it, Yeah, I would definitely donate my time no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And never feel pressured to do it. Like if you don't have the capacity to do it, like if somebody's like, hey, can you donate this, creating a video for me? And if you just don't have the capacity to do it, then say no.
Right.
Yeah.
Like don't ever feel pressured. Like you have to give and give and give and give. Cause I've fallen into that trap about a billion times.
And
Yeah, I'm learning that too.
Some people, not all, but some people will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And it's give and give and give. And then they're like, but you were giving. Why are you trying to stop? You're like, I'm literally burnt out. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Well, Marcus would say he's not a candle.
Right.
So
Yeah, I disagree with that. That's a whole other topic.
Marcus is an anomaly.
I'm not a candle. All right. Anyways.
So actually, here is something I thought of. We've all probably been the victim of doing work for free or over delivering when we weren't really getting paid for it. What is some way that you've like found and dug yourself out of getting away from free work?
Leaving the job.
That's one.
Ooh, that's good.
What about you, Rob?
Just be like, nah, fam.
Yeah, just like putting your foot down.
Adding those words
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that too.
Literally putting your foot down, not saying nah fam, but being like, yo boy,
Yeah.
I ain't doing this for free no more.
So here's an example. Here's an example. I just bought a very, very expensive camera setup, right? And I had one of my clients ask me to do a video, and I gave him a quote, and he's like, well, what can we do for less than half that? And I'm like, nothing. So
You get half of nothing.
So because he wanted me to go to 2 different locations, shoot a bunch of interviews, and
Yeah.
then and fly the drone and everything for the amount that I sent. That's what I sent, but then he wanted it for half that, and I'm like, dude, we can do 1 location, and I'll be in and out in an hour.
yeah,
And he's like, all right, cool. So we did that, and then I told him, I was like, I will not do any work for less than this much anymore.
yeah.
Like so, and now he hasn't called me, not once.
But that's probably a blessing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, because you're not wasting your time with it.
yeah,
You can use your time however you want.
that's true.
You know, and that and another thing that we didn't talk about for the free work, and I'll wrap up with this because we're about at our time limit. Is if you do take a free job, right, and like you're in this situation where you're like, oh, I think this will pan out, right? Which don't ever think that.
Yeah.
Stop thinking that. And you just totally missed an opportunity where you would get paid because you decided to do this free job,
Right.
And you weren't in the place where you would have been if you wouldn't have taken the job, which would have then opened up a door for you to be paid for this or that, and then it could have been continuous payment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you speaking from experience?
You're creating like a ripple effect, yes,
Yeah.
because there are a couple times where I have missed out on a couple of gigs that probably would have been so consistent for me for like a year or two, and I never got. I got skipped over because
You
'cause
weren't
I wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah,
If you're in a group of people that isn't paying you, there's a good chance that the people they know won't pay you either.
right.
So you need to leave that group of people. They
Right.
only value what's easy. They don't value what's going to maybe give them long-term results.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, I think we're good. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
honestly
Yeah, I
go
think
like
that was
another
good.
30 minutes
Oh,
on this
yeah.
whole
Yeah, same here.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. Don't do free work, or I'll come and find you and make you send invoices with hi.
Yeah, we're going to sit you
Invoices.
down and we're going to be like, no, you're not doing this for free. We're going to
Yeah.
write an invoice for you.
And then if you need video work or any content creation or marketing,
Actually, you
contact
can do,
Growing Media.
You can do the free work. We'll do the paying work.
Yes, yes, and we'll send you a pretty tasty invoice. Tasty the right word? Yeah, I think so.
that's right.
Yeah, I nailed it. Okay, thank you guys for watching. See ya.
Thank you.
Later.
We're free.
Bye.